Hi, Jennifer Penrose here, and I just wanted to give you a few tips on posture and how to improve some of your posture and flexibility. So one of my favorite things is laying down on the ground because you can let gravity do the work for you. So I'm just gonna tip my camera a little bit so you can see me a little better. Don't mind my dog. You end up rolling up a thick bath towel, or you can use a foam roll, and that's a little more firm. But you end up basically lying that along your spine, and you can have a pillow, you can even have an extra pillow and fold it so that you just stay neutral, so that your head isn't being tipped way back. So put what you need for support for your head, but just keep it on the head. And then when you're on this, you may find you need more towel roll to keep it supported all through your spine. And then what you're doing with your arms is you're kind of doing a W. So your elbow is straight up from your shoulder. You're trying to get your hand down to the ground. It's going to really stretch those pec muscles and help with that rounded upper back where we want to really get a little straighter with our posture. So you're just going to come out like that, hold that there, make sure your back is not arching. You're trying to breathe and relax into it. Feel that stretch across your chest, maybe your upper back. No pain in the neck or back. If so, if they're straining, then you need to adjust. So whether that's more pillow, whether that's more support under the low back and hips, so you can put a little more towel there, because really, yeah, that would be ideal. And just focus on the shoulders stretching and the chest and the upper back, and this will help with posture. So this is really good. And then from there, you can kind of take a break when you need to. The other one is just coming straight up overhead to stretch out your shoulders and your lats and all through your armpit, all of this. And you try and just touch the ground if you can with your fingertips back there. And breathe, try to just be there for a minute or so. If you get uncomfortable, come out of it. But that will help stretch out some of those tight posture muscles and your shoulders. And then you can come back down to that other position. You can also just go straight out like a letter T. So I kind of call this one the letter T, the letter W, and the letter I, because that's what you look like you're doing. But you're trying to kind of go back and forth between those and really stretch out your posture, your upper back. So if you're worried about rounded upper back, this is definitely a great way to stretch out and let gravity do the work for you. I really like this one. This one people really seem to tolerate this. They just have to figure out the right amount of propping for their neck and their low back. And if you have a firm towel or a foam roll and it's just too hard, you could put a layer of a fleece blanket or towels over it, and that would really help soften it and just make it a little more tolerable. So I'm on a hard floor, so this is enough pressure, but if you're on a bed, the towel might sink down. You might need something firmer. So this is a really good one to work on posture. The other one in posture that would be good to do, I'll just angle my camera a little bit better, is most of us during the day are often looking at devices. And so slowly over time, we kind of develop that forward head posture. So from the side, if you can see me, I'd be in a chair normally, not on the ground, but just to save time. You're just gonna tip your chin towards your throat. It's almost like you're making your head go back. Like if there was a wall back here, you should feel stretching through here. If you feel pain, you really should have physical therapy for that. Forcing that stretch is not gonna be helpful to your neck. So you may have some neck tightness that when we do that maneuver, it pulls on some of the nerves, the joints, and there's ways to release those tissues so that you have better mobility and without pain. So it should not hurt. It can be tight, there can be tension, but not pain, okay? And especially if it kind of gives you some referred pain down the arm, that would be, it's just the areas are tight and they're pulling enough on that nerve that you kind of get some of that signal down your arm. It's not to alarm you. It just means you have some work to do on flexibility and physical therapy would be an appropriate place to start, but don't push through the pain, okay? So that helps with forward head posture. So does those stretches on the floor. And you can even do a doorway stretch where your arms, you know, if this is the door post on either side, I'm here, and then I step through the door. I don't do this through the door. We don't want to exaggerate that turtle head maneuver and that forward head posture. So when you step through, your body kind of goes together, but your arms here create this, you know, pretty big stretch through here. Again, it shouldn't hurt in the shoulder joint. It should be a pulling. So again, if there's pain, you may need to start with physical therapy versus jumping right into just correcting your posture and preventing worsening of your posture. So those are great stretches to try and work on for posture. Another one, just in sitting, you know, if you're at the computer, you can do some of those chin tucks. You can also do some shoulder blade squeezes just to kind of get out of this forward positioning. If you sew, knit, those kinds of things, anything that pulls you forward. Shoulder blade squeezes, the chin tucks, shoulder rolls, going backwards. Those are all kind of helpful to remind you not to stay here. Get up and walk more often if you can, every 20 minutes from, you know, something that's pulling you forward, so that you just don't end up with too much of a forward slouched posture. The other one, just putting your hands here and bringing your elbows back and kind of tipping back with your upper back in the chair. Those are nice to do if you're kind of just stuck at the computer and you really can't go anywhere, but it kind of pulls you out of, you know, desk work or whatever. Doing some of those are helpful too. I kind of call those the butterfly stretches, right? And you can kind of do a variation of things like this, but again, shouldn't be painful, should be stretching. If it's painful, then I really would recommend physical therapy to see if we can help calm things down and get you to a point where you can tolerate those stretches. So to keep your posture good. All right. So that is my video on posture and shoulder stretches. If that was something that is more of a challenge for you, at least start there. So it should really only take you a few minutes a day and find what works for you in terms of when to fit it in. It's kind of like brushing your teeth, you know, just find a pattern and stick with it so it becomes a habit. So, all right, helpful tips on posture.